Hey everyone, it's Lynnea from Miss Ink Stamps, and I have a really easy card to share with you today using a stencil and some stamps. This new Climbing Rose stamp set is absolutely gorgeous. It's an oversized, large 6x8 stamp set. And this stamp that I'm going to pull off with the greenery, the kind of vines with the leaves, it's all one stamp. So there's no need to think about clustering your leaves or anything. It all stamps all at once. And it's even big enough you can do a slimline card. I am working on some smooth cardstock that's going to be perfect for watercoloring with Karin brush markers. It's been a long time since I've used these and I wanted to break them out. So I'm just going to stamp out this large vine as well as some of the individual leaves, but you don't have to use these with that large vine. I'm also stamping some flowers in some black ink, and then I'm going to sprinkle on some clear embossing powder and heat set this. Heat setting when watercoloring is not necessarily a necessity, but it's something that I like to do to help me control my coloring. Now, like I said, I'm going to be using some Karin brush markers. I'll start here by showing you my greenery. So I'll start with olive green and canary. Olive green is 281, canary is 166. When I color leaves or vines, I like to have an olivey green color and have the outer edges be kind of a yellow color. This is something that I learned in college when I took a botany course. Many leaves have a yellow tint mixed into it in some form or another, and it makes the leaves look more realistic if you add yellow to the tips. I decided to go a little bit further and just add it all around the outer edge. I'm using a water brush pen, but you could use just a regular paintbrush and a cup of water. I also have a cloth off to the side that I'm using to dab off frequently, especially when I'm coloring over the darker olive green color. Because my green is so dark, it could easily overtake that yellow. All I'm doing is just laying down my darker color, which in this case is the olive green, and then the canary yellow around the outside. And I'm kind of pulling those colors together. I'm going to use my water brush to get the colors moving and mixing and just blend these together. This is a really easy technique, and I like to heat emboss because that gives me individual little wells. Normally, when you are watercoloring, you want to work on one section at a time. So I would do one leaf, kind of skip a leaf, and then do another so that you're not watercoloring right next to each other. But the heat embossing forms those wells and makes it so that you can just work however you want, and the wells kind of hold in the color. Now for my roses, I'm using two colors of the Karin brush markers once again. Burgundy 075 and Fire Red 092. I'm going to do the same thing as I did with the leaves, except this is two shades of red instead of a green and a yellow. I'm going in with my darker red, the burgundy color, and just adding a bit of color where I think there will be shadows. Now, I'm not coloring very realistically. I'm not an expert at coloring. I just do what looks good to me. So I'm adding the burgundy along where I think the shadows will be, and then coming in with that fire red on the lighter side of each petal and using my water brush pen to blend them together. In some leaves, or some petals rather, the reds blended together really well, and in some, the burgundy left more of a distinct outline. So I went back through and I added a bit more of that burgundy because I liked the depth. So on some of the petals, I went back through and just added some burgundy and blended that out with my water brush. Once I was done, I fussy cut out those images with my scissors, and I started playing around with my background, but it felt like it was missing something. So I grabbed the Swiss Dots stencil. You can never go wrong with dots. Whenever I feel like a background is missing something, I add either dots or stripes. They're my favorite patterns. So the Swiss Dots stencil is great because there's these tiny little dots evenly spaced. I'm going to use some purple tape just to add that stencil on top of my background. And I'm using a small fingertip blender brush and some gray ink, and I'm not even taking any care to mask off this large vine from the Climbing Rose stamp set. I'm just going to use this brush and go in and over where the white areas of my card are. Now, like I said, I'm not taking any care to mask, so in some places I am sure that I blended over the leaves, but it actually didn't show because this gray is so light. And probably because I'm using a small fingertip blender brush, that helped a lot too. I just kept peeling back that Swiss Dot stencil, looking at my background to see where I had missed some areas until I had my whole background full of Swiss dots, and it looks like I took the care to mask, but I didn't. Now I'm just going to grab those roses and arrange them in the center of my card, and you can see here how that one single large vine image does all the work for the greenery for you. I did choose to cut out some extra leaves to pop up, but you don't have to because there's so many leaves in the background. I stamped a sentiment from the Sunshine and Rainbows stamp set, and I'm going to trim the edge down into a banner and pop that up, coming off of the right side of my card. The way that I arranged my flowers, it looked a little left side heavy, so I wanted to balance that out, and I decided to have the sentiment hanging off to the right a little bit. So this is my finished card. I have listed and linked all of the Miss Ink Stamps products that I've used on this card below in the video description. Thank you all so much for watching this video. I hope you'll check out the rest of the inspiration on the Miss Ink Stamps YouTube channel. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you soon. Bye. Thank you again very much for watching this video. If you liked this video and you'd like to see more from me, please hit that subscribe button that is on the screen now. And here are a few other videos that I thought you might enjoy.